feel there's a lot of people out there that are carrying a lot of weight in a relationship. And maybe, you have just one person, that's trying to stay emotionally balanced for the both, trying to keep things steady. Sometimes it's, just the way it is, and you may be one of those people right now. This video I wanted to make today is focused around emotional boundaries, and it's really about taking care of yourself, but not losing yourself in the process. I think a lot of us have done that, and it's not being cold. It's just seeing it for what it is, because you can do something about it that's good. It's positive. It's not being cold or pulling back. But this is where I wanted to make this video today, just from lessons learned from myself. And you can always see things clearly when that time has passed, or you're either out of that relationship. It's all about living and learning, right? So let's dive into this. Hopefully get some value out of this video, and anyway, so the thing is, what happens often when this is these emotional boundaries come up, from my experience, and I'm talking across the board here, family, friends, your partner, all loved ones, right? And I found it's come from that person or persons being unsure, whatever it is that they're unsure about. We don't really know, but sometimes it can be simple. It can just be a quick conversation, but there can be some things that are conflicted. That person could be quite overwhelmed what's going on in their life, or they're just going through the ups and downs like we all do, and as life will always be. Always going to be ups and downs. It's how you handle the situation at the time. So most of the time, we're not doing this to try and get an answer on the spot. I'm talking about these emotional boundaries, or try and force some alignment here, or fix anything straight away. It's us guys tend to want to get a solution and fix everything now, so we can get back to balance, get back to some rhythm, and just get on with it, right? But that doesn't always work. Sometimes you just got to be a bit more patient, sit back and just listen. But hey, listen, along the way, if you're doing everything possible, you're being patient, you're not adding pressure, and you're trying to be the anchor, then sure, what does that say? That says that you really value the relationship. And by doing that, it shows that you really care. So on the surface, I've always looked at that as, geez, I'm doing everything possible here. I'm doing my best. It shows maturity. Of course, it's attractive. You're trying to be a rock in this situation. But if you're prioritizing your peace over reciprocation, okay, that's a different thing, because even though, as I said, you're trying to not rock the boat, keep everything cool, your peace may be coming at your own expense. And when you're in it, as I said, you don't see it. You're in autopilot. You're doing what you feel is correct at the time. But at the end of the day, that peace could be costing you, and because peace that costs your own voice isn't peace. No, you're not winning any battles there. So if you're constantly taking responsibility for someone else's stress or their schedule, or even their actual emotional capacity or their internal state, it can become quite draining. Because you may have regulated yourself so they don't have to feel the discomfort. And that one's a tricky one, because when you're in it, it's coming from the heart, right? You're bringing care, and you're trying to keep everything, in a pretty good alignment. But if you stay in that sort of behavior, you're at a point where you can be enabling someone to not shift. They're comfortable and they're in that space. And what that means for you really is, as we were talking about, is you've molded yourself around their pattern. And I never thought of this when I was in this situation or phase. But hey, I get it. As I said, I've been there. Most of us have. We bring that compassion and care, and we're trying to be considerate and not walk on eggshells. But this is where the imbalance starts to show, because the real question is now, where do you draw the line? Where is the boundary here? And that's what often gets missed, because, as I said, when you're in it, you're not ignoring the situation. You can see it. You're being proactive. You can see what's happening. It's a bit of a pattern going on here. But at the same time, you just want to get back to the present moment, not perfection. Let's just get back to some balance here, because it starts eating at you, And one thing I want to add there is, especially for us guys, no matter how much you want to be a Spartan and get everything, take leadership and provide that masculinity, which is how we're built. You can only take it for so long where you can get a little bit snappy, a little bit irritable. So that's where the boundary slips, because you can continue on that pathway, but then you're going to start finding yourself shrinking in the process. And a lot of us confuse this with compassion with endurance. So I know what I used to do, and I would still do it tomorrow, of course, was, hey, tomorrow's a new day. All right, tomorrow's a new day. We'll get through it. Everything will be fine. We just need to stay steady right now. I got your back. We're all good. And sometimes it works. Yeah, it does. It's great. It's a great feeling. And that way, okay, sorted that one out. But at the same time, whilst you're showing that resilience and that strong mindset and bringing that solid character, that endurance without mutual regulation, as I say, it slowly turns into exhaustion. It catches up with you. And then you start carrying more than what you should. And then you start carrying and absorbing what isn't yours. So you keep going, even as your body, your energy, your clarity start to slowly wear down. If you're someone like me, which is just get on with it and push through, then you'll find yourself in a pattern for sure, and all these signs will start showing up that I need a breather. I need to get some space here and get my head right, because it's starting to overwhelm. And here's the truth. The hard truth is this, which is lesson learned. Staying loyal, non-reactive, most important, and calm and steady through all of that. Hey, it's a winner, right? Absolutely, I agree. But when that turns into an endurance marathon, you don't win. You just burn out. And that's not love. It's self-abandonment. So most of us don't even realize we're doing it, and that's the thing. Until we start feeling a bit disconnected, and feeling a bit. Even resentfulness can kick in, right? So that's not love right there. Not because you stopped caring. It's because maybe you cared so much without any support coming back, and when that becomes a little bit of a pattern and goes on for maybe weeks or even months, some people longer. Now you're in a situation which really needs rectifying to get that healthy alignment back, get that balance back. So this is what emotional boundaries really come down to. It's not being cold, it's not pulling away and giving the silent treatment. It's not about saying less or caring less. It's about what you carry internally. Because you can stay open. Of course, you have to be present. Stay, and when I say that, stay in the present moment today. Get back to what are we talking about? Don't bring up past and start adding fuel to the fire here. That doesn't do anything for the both of you. Always bring that kindness. Always bring that compassion and us. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about us. Really important. So you separate that ego without taking responsibility for that person's emotions. Any confusion or instability that's going on that isn't yours is really important, and that's the difference, because a healthy boundary says, hey, I'm here, I'm with you, I got your back, you got all the support and love for me. You can't get much more from the heart than that. And but you have to let that person know, and I mean not by walking on eggshells, but as in wording it in a way which basically says, however you want to word it, but word it in a way which means you need to sort out yourself. You need to sort your stuff out. Yeah, but no finger pointing, no blaming, and no wording it, so it can create an emotional trigger because you don't know what space that person is in, so that's not cool. So you have to be very aware of that. And it's one of the hardest things in close relationships, and I'm talking romantic here, is that love makes us want to protect. I feel men and women, but men, our DNA is just built like that. We want to take care of our loved ones, and it's part of us. Smooth things over and just keep the connection intact. Don't let it slide. So when we try to keep stabilizing that peace and the dynamic, it starts to shift a little bit more. But at the same time, if you are the one that's carrying it, that other one will adapt to be carried. So you're not winning anything there. And it's not about winning, it's just about, hey, we've got to get back to some alignment here. And that's where resentment can kick in, which is what you don't want. Yeah, not because anyone did anything wrong. We've got to make sure that's clear. It's because the balance just slowly started to go left or right, however you want to frame it. It just started to go the other way. And when you're in your routine and your responsibilities, whether you've got kids and etc., this is the last thing you're thinking about. You're just getting on with life, but in the background, you've got this imbalance. All right? So the boundary, we've got to get back to the boundary, and the imbalance doesn't mean, okay, we need to have a sit down here and have a bit of a chit chat. It means about, all right, we're not going to do this without any confrontation. And this is how I speak to myself prior to I'm going to have a sit down. But it doesn't mean, all right, here's an ultimatum for you. Not at all. Doesn't look like that. It often looks like not fixing anything immediately, not trying to fix a person, just allowing the situation to take a pause, get together, and letting someone sit with their own emotions, but voicing where you're at from what you've observed in the pattern, how you're feeling lately, what's been going on. But you've got to stay grounded along the way when you're having this conversation. You're not withdrawing care, so it depends. It really depends. The people that you know well, because we're talking family, loved ones here, and close friends, and your partner, you're going to know how they operate pretty well. So it's just finding that fine line there, how to express, but making sure that it's about us, as I was saying before. It's not distance, it's just self-respect. So a few key takeaways here that I thought about from my lessons learned is your emotional boundaries are about what you carry, not how calm you appear on the outside. And I think I've done that so often where I've looked solid, nothing's going on, I've got the mask on, but underneath I'm stewing all this stuff, and I'm trying to hide it. Yeah. The resentful part I mentioned is basically information for you to say something ain't right here. Because if I'm feeling resentfulness towards this person, how did I get here? And I don't believe it's a personal flaw. I feel it's just red flags, whatever you want to call it, information that along the way has built up, and you're at this place now where you feel a bit of resentfulness going on. Yeah, not cool. Staying open doesn't mean absorbing everything. I feel you keep an open mind, compassion, open heart, but not taking on the world where it's like you're trying to be a Spartan here. It's a good feeling to take on more. It feels like you're climbing a mountain here, and when you achieve something, it feels great. But sometimes we can just take on far more than what we're capable of at that time, because it will bite you on the back. Yeah, healthy connection. Here's a big one. Healthy connection requires two regulated people. Both of you really need to be regulated to be able to see it for what it is and come together and back on track. Back on track. Tomorrow's a new day. But not holding it together for both. And that's where if that other person is not reading it or seeing it that way, because hey, they got so much going on, and this and this and that, and I get all that, but how much can you support before you say, all right, we're singing this same old dance, we need to eliminate some things here or find some solutions here, because this is sucking the life out of me, right? And I think the other one too that blends with that is caring doesn't mean managing another person's emotional world. It's really important, because it means if you stay regulated, so you have the capacity to be able to care and support for that person. And what I mean by that is, what about if you have someone vulnerable, someone that is struggling through an illness? You're not just going to say, hey, this is my emotional boundary, take care of yourself. No, you're not going to do that. You're going to be able to rise above, to bring it for them to be able to support with. You're going to have more zest, more energy, to be able to see it for what it is. It's not cool, but at the same time, I got you. I got your back. I'm here all the way. That's how much you show your care and support, not by taking on unnecessary emotional baggage that really. And let's look at the big picture here. What truly matters here, what's going on, is this. This is what's going on, and this is really important. And this is showing how much you care or love this person, because hey, I need to stay up for both of us. So let's just put all this unnecessary stuff to the side, and that way I can bring my A game. Yeah, because you're going to have your daily responsibilities, and at the end of the day or during the day, you're going to be able to respond healthily, and bring that capacity so you can get through this. Yeah, get through it together. Yeah, so it's really, really important there, because you're not dismissing the other person about, hey, these are my emotional boundaries. You're just walking through life where if you have someone in your life that's vulnerable or it's going through an illness, these are my reasons so I can support you even better. But if you have two people that are just going through life and there's the imbalance, it's time for that conversation, right? Yeah, because you're feeling it and you're carrying it, and it's going to start wearing you down if you don't catch it. Yeah, can get you sick. So one thing that really matters here is remembering that just because someone is where they're at emotionally, we have to really be careful with this, because I wanted to be sharp on this area here, because it's truth to me, and I think it makes a lot of sense, common sense. is that it doesn't mean we know how they got there, right? So if that person is in that behavioral space, remember, what's really going on with them? And are they operating at that level? Is it, you know them pretty well, but something's going on. What's changed? So we can't assume and judge and just, hey, these are my emotional boundaries, and have this conversation. So that's where that open mind comes into play, because we don't know their full story. You know, we don't know what they've been carrying, and you know what they've learned to survive, to get through. Yeah, it doesn't sound like much, this emotional boundaries, but there's a big vast world behind it with someone that is we really thought we knew them. And it doesn't make their behavior right or wrong, it just makes us all of us human. At the same time, you still want to be responsible for yourself. All right, we were talking about that, and still you get to choose how you show up. That one is very critical, because you're the one that's responsible for your own actions, your own behavior, and what you don't do. That's up to you. You know, that's what you do and what you don't do, and how you choose your words and how you choose your actions. Emotional boundaries aren't about blaming the other person. Okay, they're about taking ownership of what you can control and how you communicate in your energy, you know, as I was saying. You can meet someone with understanding and still be honest about what you need. Right? You can value a relationship and name things. Hey, this is where I'm feeling. This is what I'm feeling, and this is where I'm feeling a bit out of balance. So you know, you're bringing a high EQ, mature conversation to the table, not a reactive one. And it's not an egoic mindset. Really important, because we can choose some wrong words, even though, hey, I didn't mean it like that. You know, just chill, calm down. Maybe don't say chill. I don't know, but. It depends on how sensitive a person can be, or you know, you want to avoid that reactivity. You want to bring that, I'm responding to something, but I'm bringing no emotional reactivity. That'll show a lot of class. And it's not trying to win. Make sure of that. It's not trying to be right. That's the ego kicking in again. But willing to meet in the middle, because that's where the connection really matters. I'm a big believer in that. Hey, meet in the middle. You know, I'll bring the best I can be. Hey, I'm not going to be perfect, but you got that right mindset. We're gonna go on the straight and narrow. We're not going to be on all over the place. And also staying open-minded. You know, not being rigid about your boundaries. Don't be rigid and like this is the way it is. Otherwise, you know, otherwise what? Yeah, you don't want that. It's not good, because boundaries aren't meant to be separate. Yeah, boundaries, they're meant to bring things back into balance. So when you take care of yourself properly, you actually have more capacity to care for someone else, not less. Yeah, and the goal isn't perfection or isn't instant change. It's just consistency. Bring that consistency. Just show up each day, same. Again, you're not always going to be at your best every day, but if you can just bring honesty, bring calm energy, you know, even if you're feeling you're not at that space today, maybe reset, maybe don't speak about it today, maybe choose another day, without judgment, and long enough for newer patterns to start forming. Yeah, stay with that consistency when I say long enough in it, and that's pretty much the experience for me on how I've evolved, and you know, been beaten up in this area for sure. But the good thing is you're looking at both people here. All right, you're not just looking at you and falling into victim mode and then creating this story. Why me? You're bringing emotional maturity. You're bringing, especially for men, I think it's very, very important that you bring those masculine traits, because that's what girls want. And look, you're going to be far more respected when you're not bringing any reactivity. You're just bringing healthy EQ, but expressing your needs without any reactivity, but creating this environment so you can get together and have a discussion without anything escalating or triggering. Anyway, I think we covered everything there. So if this resonates for you and you've got some value out of this, again, this is not a judgment. It's not, hey, Craig told me this is what I need to do and I need to change. No, it's not about that. It's just a reminder just to stop carrying what was never yours in the first place, because that's where the real balance begins. But keep that balance going. Where if you do have someone in your life that is vulnerable or suffering through an illness right now, then of course, for you to be an anchor for the both of you, take on what you can, but focus on what obviously is right in front of you and what matters, and then you'll get through it. Yep, we always get through it. We live and we learn, and but we always get through it. Okay, see you in the next video.